What's going on, everybody, and welcome to Brutal Planet Comics. I'm your host, Dre the Brute Daniels, and I am super stoked for my brand new segment, The Indie Corner, which I'll be interviewing people of the massive indie comics community, writers, artists, producers, creators, doesn't matter. It's about getting the indies out there. So today I have a very special guest, one of my personal friends. He is the writer of the Intrepid comic series. He is also one of the founders of Crucial Crisis Comics. Give it up, everybody, for Jose Loeri.
Yo, what's going on, Dre? How you doing?
I am doing tremendous today. How are you?
Pretty good. A little hot, but it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's a scorcher out there today. So, I already know who you are. I know everything about what you do. Please introduce yourself to all the masses and break down what you're working on and what your plans are.
Okay. Name's Jose Loeri. I'm co-owner of C3 Comics, creator of the Intrepid series, as Dre brought out, and writer and co-creator of the Shonen Double Feature series. Basically, with those two series, leads into our deals with the second wave universe, which is one of the properties of C3 Comics. I pretty much govern that section of things, and as far as the books themselves, Intrepid, and I'll just go ahead and give you the log line.
Yeah, give us the rundown. Go for it. Go in.
I got my little log line prepared anyway. This, in a violent, militaristic era, a group of brave individuals must inspire a new generation of heroes and halt their world's slow descent into a dark dystopian future.
That's deep.
So Intrepid is basically, but the interesting thing about it is that it's the first heroes of a new heroic age trying to stop a dystopian future from taking hold. So it's not there yet, but if heroes don't come back, eventually things will slide into that dark militaristic place, which we don't want to go. So it's trying to reignite the heroic spirit of their era. That's what Intrepid is.
So like the golden era, the golden age, like golden age comics.
But then you got to also ask yourself the question, can you go home again? You know what I'm saying? You got a cynical world which rejected heroes once. Can you bring that heroic spirit back? So they have to inspire others to join them in that fight. That's where Intrepid's coming from. Not within that world, you have underground heroes who, although heroes have been banned up until that point, they never stop. And they're outlaws. Got it. Right. So you got your lightning rods, your Brooklyn blurs, little guys like that running around. That's the talent pool that's going to have to be drafted from for the new heroic age. So it's going to be a transition of making these vigilantes basically heroes. Got it. And Intrepid trying to lead these heroes into a new heroic age. Yeah, exactly. And I've been a fan of your writing forever. But one thing I've always got a vibe from it was kind of like not really scene for scene, but like a reverse Watchmen type bit. Like, that's a great way to put it. You know what I mean? Like reverse Watchmen, and it's just like everybody's outlaws, and then they become heroes instead of being like how Watchmen is like they're heroes who become outlaws. And I think that kind of role reversal, as far as storytelling is concerned, is pretty cool and unique, because usually most people are more accustomed to someone like the standard hero's journey, which is incident happens, powers given, test your ability, then engage in heroics. But this one is like, not only are they starting at the bottom, they are against the law. And so it's not even like, hey, we're here to help everybody and save. Like, no, it's like, yo, we're going to help people, but we got to be quick while we do it because the cops are on our heels. And I'm thinking like, yo, that's pretty dope and that's pretty unique,
especially in a more or less grounded superhero universe.
True.
So it's pretty dope, and I think that's really really cool. So
Appreciate it.
how many Intrepid issues have you written so far? Oh, let me know. That's not fair. How many have you put out so far?
Published, okay.
Yeah,
We're on-
because I know you've written trillions, but no, which ones have you put out?
Currently, we have 8 done that are available that can be read right now, and we're on 9 right now, which is going to see print likely in September.
Okay.
And we'll probably do a crowdfunding campaign for that in September.
Okay.
So that's where that is.
So watch out for that, everybody. What will be the title of this one?
This one is the title of the chapter. We got the book is Intrepid. The title of the chapter would be When We Were Brats.
When We Were Brats.
Which
Which
makes sense within the context.
Okay. Dope.
Also, the C3 Comics just finished a successful Kickstarter for Armageddon, which is a series written by my other co-creator, Alan Cole, and created by Alan Cole and David B. Welcher, which is on. It's counting down backwards, so it's going from 50 to 1.
Okay.
And currently, I think we're on 45 or 44.
Why the reverse count?
Because it counts down to Armageddon. Basically.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
okay.
Very clever stuff.
Yo,
clever stuff.
that is clever.
I gotta get a boy's credit.
Yeah, my brain was like, why would it backwards? Like, yo, that's okay. That's clever. That's
so
really
visit
good.
the website and you can get all the information.
Yeah, so definitely that's c3comics.com. All right, yeah, so definitely check out c3comics.com to pick up everything that these boys are laying down. They're incredible. The writing is phenomenal. Artwork is great. Definitely check it out. Support the indies for sure. And I will leave a link in the description below to C3 Comics and their site. Hit up their newsletter, everything. Tell them how great they are. You know what I mean? So yeah, they're great. They're great. And they're doing the Lord's work. I'm telling you, they're putting it down. They're putting it down. So yeah, so thank you, Jose, for that rundown. Mm-hmm. So now I have a more sobering question to ask. Well, before I ask the sobering question, the state of the comic industry, especially coming from the big two of DC and Marvel, to put lightly, is a complete dumpster fire. It's either stories are horrible or they're just dripping with identity politics and nonsensical foolishness that literally no one, not even the people they're trying to target, want to buy. And it's plummeting. Like, it hasn't plummeted since when they started that 90s craze when everybody had big chests. So, so it is not. The comic industry has not seen a hit like this in many, many moons. And manga is kicking everybody in the teeth right now. Everyone in the teeth. America isn't even in the top 20 graphic novels anymore. Yeah. Top 20 graphic novels as of June, I think, is all manga. Yeah. I think 100% all manga. And it's an abomination to what has happened to our industry. So here's the question. What can we do in the indie comics community to save the comic book industry?
That's a good question. And I'll first, I appreciate the point that you brought up about manga, because a lot of people that say that the industry is doing great don't take into account that numbers-wise, manga is pushing everything. Manga sales are pushing the industry in the United States, which, like you say, is a shame.
No question about it.
And now, don't get me wrong, I love manga. You know what I'm saying?
Manga's great.
Yeah, I'm a One Piece fan all the way out. I was down for Naruto when it was out. I was down with, My Hero Academia. I could do all of that stuff. But I came up in comics through American comics. That's what inspired me to create. So when I see the industry from the American standpoint suffering like that, it hurts. And to be honest with you, also, I kind of jumped out of the because of the big two and a lot of stuff that they were doing. I jumped out for a good long time because it just wasn't worth reading.
Agreed.
Like you brought up, identity politics, all kind of SJW nonsense. So I jumped out, and I only stick my head in and out when I hear something's hot. Joker War and stuff like that. I jumped in there, in and out, whatever. There's no stability there. From the indie standpoint, I think it basically will come down to price point. If we don't, because a lot of indies, spike their price, of course, to get a profit.
Of course.
And if you go to what you call them, Diamond, they're going to take what percentage is this?
Yeah, I think it was at 12. Is it 12?
Something like
yeah,
I think
I think it's like 12%.
Yeah, they're going to cut into you with their take. So the initial thought is, let me raise the price up so I get a bigger slice on the back end. But at the same time, you have to, if your standards in terms of your art and your editing and definitely your writing are not all the way up to par, it's going to be hard to sell that book.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, a $6 24-page book is going to be a hard sell anyway.
Woo!
Because, I mean, and I see a lot of cats out there, pricing their books at $5, $6 or whatever.
Oof.
Unless you got a huge following.
Like, massive. Like a massive following you have to have in order to try to put that kind of price point.
It's going to be hard.
Yeah.
And, you could have a very good book. But if you're not of the big 2 or 3, it's a big ask. Because people are taking a chance.
Yeah.
So price point will be one. Second, quality. You've got to meet, or in the case of indies, at times you got to almost exceed industry standards.
I agree. Exceed. It has to be, and like not to cut you off there.
No, go ahead.
But I agree with you 110% when it comes to price point. Of course, is always going to be debatable, but level of quality, you have to provide something that the other two. Well, we want to throw Dark Horse in there. I guess we can. The big 2.5 is not providing. You you have to give them something that is not going to be something that they can get anywhere else. It has to be unique. It has to be cool. It has to be something that someone can relate to. If it's missing on any of these marks, you're gonna be in some trouble. Because let's just say you get one person. Let's just say, sake of argument, let's just say 10 people go into the store and one person pick up your book. And if your book ain't captivating or makes them want to read more, you're screwed. You're screwed. It's over from there, because they can rationalize, if I want garbage, I have Marvel and DC for that. So exactly. So I think quality is a huge piece of it. And so I definitely cannot understate that anymore. So yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead, please continue.
I think a third is going to have to be consistency of output. And I'm not going to say you don't have to match the output of Marvel and DC, because most indies can't go.
No way.
It's not going to happen. But if you can go bi-monthly or quarterly, but you can do it consistent, you got to do that. People got to know when your book's coming out, when they can expect the next thing.
Exactly.
It's otherwise, I've experienced this myself. You fall out of the eye of your consumers and you're just lost. They're looking for you. I mean, your face is on a milk carton at that point. You got to.
Have you seen me?
Yeah, people will stick with you if they know when you're putting something out, especially if you present them something that they like. If you've given them something that they can genuinely get into, they'll wait it out. They'll wait out a quarter and just go there and buy it. So you got to have consistent output and marketing. Wow.
Ooh, marketing.
That's.
Ooh.
The good thing is there's lots of avenues. You got social media. You got actually you can use some forms of crowdfunding as marketing. You got with your word of mouth. You can, if you start local, which is a cool thing to do, conquer your local area, be it getting it out to the comic book shops in your area, and then grow outward. I think that's a good way to look at it. Because if you just say I'm going to get my books in every store across the country, of course that's not going to work. But if you can dominate your local market and then spread out from there, that's cool. You know, I think that's doable.
Yeah, and I think that's a rational way of looking at it. I like to look at the comic community, the indie comic community, as farmers markets. Yeah, when it comes to farmers market, it's about what you grew at your farm that's in your area. Farmers from the farmers market are not growing their fruits and vegetables in Virginia and then driving all the way to California to sell it. No, they're going right down the road to their neighbors and customers or people from out of town that are coming through. Dominate the market that you're in. And it makes perfect sense. Market to where you are. And it's more cost effective that way as well. Because those in the community, unless you backed by Bill Gates or Jay-Z or whoever else, you ain't swimming in that kind of dough for mass production and travel. Ain't no way. If you got that, then holla at me because I need some help. But you definitely want to dominate the market that you are in, and that's where your fan base starts. Just like in a farmer's market, or if you want to. Or pro wrestling, how it used to be back with the territory days. You got to dominate the territory if you want to get on TV. So I think that will work. The way that's supposed to function, I think that would be a really good move. And thank you for bringing that out. That's a very good point.
And the fact that we got Awesome Con in DC is just fabulous.
Exactly. I mean, exactly. How many times have you been featured there? Like what, 4 or 5 times?
3 or 4, I believe. Yeah. I mean, because before that, you had to go to Baltimore.
Yep.
You had to go to maybe Richmond, or you had to spread out. You had to go somewhere. Now, I mean, you still have to travel a bit, but to have a con of that size in the city is huge.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember when we were there at the first one, and the last one that we had, I think it's at least 3. They've taken up 3 or 4 times as much space as from the beginning.
Oh, wow.
I mean, it was like, at the beginning, it was like a room. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Just not that, I mean, it was a decent sized room, but now they pretty much got the majority of the,
because that was at McPherson Square, wasn't it? That was McPherson.
They had one at McPherson Square. McPherson. They had one at the convention center. They had one at a convention center, but they had cordoned it off. It was kind of like a small area. And it's just kept growing and growing. They knocking the walls back to the point where now they pretty much got the whole thing.
And that's the beauty of it. And I think that's one of the things I miss the most is the con experience. And I think like Comic-Con, OsmonCon, Baltimore Comic-Con, KatsuCon even, shoot. That is the farmer's market. That's the farmer's market. That's where you meet your fans or figure out who likes what you're putting down, what your produce is, what you wrote, what you produce, your art, whatever it is. That is where you go to see who wants to taste it. And I've met so many great people, so many great creators at these cons, and I think that is really lost right now, and it's really taken a major hit, of course, because of COVID and all other stuff. Of course, everything is taking a good old strike across the lip, but like once in some way, shape, or form, and they're starting to plan them to come back. I think there's one. I think in Ocean City they're trying to plan one because I was out in Delaware a couple weeks back, and I was hitting up their local their beach comic stores, and they're trying to bring some kind of con back to Ocean City, and I was like, that's a good idea. And I don't know if they're going to do it like open outside. I don't know if they're going to pull that off with the tents and stuff. I don't know if that's happening. But somebody's trying to do something. And that's the point. We gotta get the wheels back turning.
let's say that's it. And you hit on something else. Grind. There has to be the individual, the creator has to grind out and look for avenues to strike at. You know what I mean? What I'm saying, you got to be imaginative. You know what I'm saying? You can't just let everything come to you or just only walk on the paved roads. You got to go out there and see where you can find an avenue that hasn't been explored. It might cost you a lot in sweat equity or whatever, but you got to be imaginative and find a niche that no one else has struck at. Not the easiest thing to do, but that's part of the grind, the mentality that I'm gonna do something unorthodox and try to get people in the door. You know?
Exactly.
Hunt people down like if you was hunting rabbits and there ain't no grocery stores. You know what I'm saying? And you gonna die if you don't hunt. You know what I'm saying?
Set your traps.
Yeah, man. You know what I mean? It's one of those things. You know what I'm saying? You're in a lot of the time the deck is stacked against you because the big boys don't have to do anything.
Nope.
Marvel, I mean, they got, their characters on undoes and lunch boxes. You get up in the morning and somebody hits you in the face with Superman or Wonder Woman or whatever. Yeah. So you're on that low. You're on the low end.
You're down there. You're down there.
So you gotta sweat a lot harder than the other guys.
Absolutely. Because and on that note, if you're not grinding like that, you're not gonna make it. Period. Because if you're gonna tell me I can walk into, like you said, a grocery store and see Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, and whoever else, obviously the market is already being cornered by these characters, just lowballing these characters. And then here I come creating something. I've got to put a bullhorn on my back and just start pressing the button and be like, hey, look at me, look at this is superior, or this is on par. I have to compete like you said, like I'm hunting rabbits.
Yeah.
Like if I'm hunting rabbits, you better set some traps, you better put some things they like to eat, you better get some good hound dogs, you better figure out something. Because they're not going to sit around. They're not going to sit around and wait for you to get them.
Yeah.
You got to put in that work. And the indie game is work. Now, satisfying work, I'll admit, but work all the same. It ain't for the faint of heart sometimes.
No.
Sometimes you get hit in the mouth and you're like, oh God, why do I keep doing this? Next thing you know, you're writing another series.
And another thing, like what you're doing and what I'm doing with the Crisis Corner on my YouTube channel, by the way. Jose's Crisis Corner. But
yeah, check out Jose's Crisis Corner. It's pretty dope. He's got the analytics. Check that joint out for sure.
And like I say, the thing I admire about what you're doing, and that most indie creators, the majority of indie creators at least try to do, sell yourself. You know what I'm saying? By having your YouTube channel, you can present the most unique thing that you have about your brand is you.
Yep.
You can use yourself to sell your work, because a lot of times people buy, when they buy from DC and Marvel, they're absentmindedly buying by, rote or whatever. It's just reflex.
Exactly.
But when they buy from you, they check out this dude and they say, oh, he said whatever. You know what I'm saying? Oh, that was a hot take or whatever. They look at you and they get to know you. It's like getting to know your neighbor.
Exactly.
And then you find out he's selling spinach in the backyard. You say, hey, man, let me get some of that.
Yep.
Because I'm backing you up. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. And that's one of the things. Like you said, everybody's got to have a gimmick. Mm-hmm. Everybody's got to find a way to advertise. Everybody's got to find a way to say, hey, look at me.
Yeah.
So, and this is one of the avenues. Like, hey, you get to know me. We get to chit chat. You get to know other people in the indie comics community like yourself. So you get to know them. Like, hey, they were pretty cool in this interview. Yo, I want to check out what they're working on. And
I'm gonna tell you, I caught your take on She-Hulk. I'm old school She-Hulk. You know what I'm saying? I go back to like John Burns' 87, 80s, early 90s take, and then the dance slot that you had. I was right there with you. I'm telling you, I left a comment on there because I'm saying that new She-Hulk, I wasn't feeling.
Yo, I
Like
almost
some
threw
big
up.
dude, you know
I
what
almost
I'm
threw
saying?
up twice.
Ah,
Twice.
I see what they're doing. I mean, anyway. So I saw your take, and then I said, "Oh, I'm down with that." So now I'm down with you. You know what I'm saying? That's what you can present with your social media. You know what I'm saying? Now you're taking a risk because somebody can look at it the other way and say, "Hey, you shouldn't have said that."
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
wrong. The new She-Hulk
It's the
is the
gamble.
joint. You know, that's the gamble.
And Jose, I'm glad you mentioned that. I'm glad you mentioned the risk and the gamble that's being taken by me having a hot take on what the big two are doing.
Mm-hmm.
Am I gonna offend somebody? Yes, and I hope I am, because it needs to change, because it's an abomination. But at the same time, the people that I'm actually trying to attract, they're gonna come flocking, because they're the ones that are interested in real good storytelling. They're the ones that are interested in characters that make sense, or characters they can relate to, or story that's not beating them over the head with identity politics and SJW nonsense. They just want to have something enjoyable, and that's the crowd I want to attract off the jump. And so, yes, definitely, it's a gamble, but but the stakes are more. Yo, the stakes.
Hey, look, better to have what's that saying? Something about a honest enemy than a false friend. Better to have
exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So, but because there's a lot of people, they just kiss up to whatever and shill for various products or whatever. But if you down with me for who I am, I'm cool with it. Even if it's three of you, and that's three people I can deal with, as opposed to half a dozen that be with you today and gone tomorrow.
Exactly. You take three people to rule the galaxy.
Yeah.
That's all it takes. That's all it takes.
Hey, look, and like I'm saying, the rewards to me is greater than the risk.
Exactly.
And you can show your passion. You know what I mean? If people see your passion, and that's another thing that I think is critical for indie creators is be passionate about what you do and do it as hard as you can. Go as hard as you can and let people see your passion for your projects, for what you write.
Absolutely. Love what you do. Absolutely.
And it's apparent when people see that they feed off. You know what I'm saying? So just present yourself and present the passion that you have for what you're creating. And people will flock to it. And some might not, but you're gonna get people that have that same passion.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. And that's the point. I want to attract the people that understand where I'm coming from.
Mm-hmm.
If you're attracting an audience or a group or a demographic that has no idea what you're doing, they're not sticking around. They're not. They might be here for a spectacle, yes, but they're not here because they enjoy your work or what you're trying to accomplish. They're here for a freak show.
No, yeah.
So, but that's not who I want. I want the people that are into what I'm into.
Yeah.
And that's the way to do it. And so, but yeah, about marketing yourself, being passionate, everything you're saying, I'm all in. I'm all in. Everything you're saying is 100%.
And grab them local comic shops.
Grab them all. Grab them all.
All local comic shops have spots on their shelves for indie books.
Yes.
So why not hit them up and say, yo, make a personal connection with the owners of as many shops as you can.
Exactly.
And then say, hey, I'm from, down the street or whatever. I got this book, check it. Let them give them a free copy.
Yeah. Grease the palms.
Oh, you got to, yeah.
You got to grease them.
And then just say, yo, can you put this on your shelf, blah, blah, blah. And let them promote you too.
Yep. Because that's how you can get it rolling. Like the one that I'm frequenting the most now is the one that's been around in Silver Spring since the beginning of time, Alliance Comics.
There you go.
You know what I mean?
There you go.
Alliance Comics is a one seed. I don't mind plugging them. Alliance Comics is great. If you live in the DC area, go there. It's great. They're amazing. I love them.
That's the first comic shop that I ever went to. 16 years old. 1986.
Yep. It's the best.
I was buying Spider-Man. I was buying Fantastic Four. Yeah, that's my shit. I don't get there because now I'm out in PG County.
Yeah,
of course.
you
Everybody
way out now.
everybody gets deported to PG County at some point. But you know, that's my shop. That's my shop.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I was there. I was there the other day, and I was seeing, well, unfortunately, seeing what's popping in the streets, and it's not great. But I still enjoy the atmosphere. I still love perusing, and I still love that it's the only comic store I know that has 2 floors. Right? You know what I mean? And like, and the basement level is great.
You still got the basement?
Yeah.
Okay.
I love it.
Okay.
Still got it. It's still open. Still got the basement. Everything.
What's on the first floor?
First floor is the top, and they got all the mainstream, whatever is being pushed,
Okay.
and they have a new indie section there. It's a new indie section there. So
okay.
I was really impressed at the new indie section. So I am currently in talks to see if I can put Treble the Rhythm Within up in that piece. So I'm trying to see what's good with that. So
I'm glad they're still there.
Yeah,
I'm glad they're still there.
Still there, and I had feared that during COVID they might have took a L, but nope, still around. Like every time I go, they end up walking out with something. So you know. Oh yeah, that's another disclaimer. Support your local comic shop.
Comic shops. Oh please.
For God's sake, support your local comic shops.
We need them. Look, I mean, and I'm all about, you know, what's the joke is what am I thinking about? Comixology and people like that and stuff that you can get like digital and all that. I like that. That's cool. That's cool. I mean, I respect that. But somebody got to do brick and mortar.
Yeah.
Somebody got to do it, because otherwise, if you fade from the scene on the brick and mortar scene, there's a better chance that you'll be forgotten altogether.
Exactly.
You
got to get the paper in their hands.
Yeah. The floppies got to sell. Floppies got to sell.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, I don't want to think about it. People still read books. I mean, books.
Yes. Yes, I love books.
Still read comic books.
Yes. And like my graphic novel shelf is growing. You know what I mean? Like I bought a bad one. I gotta admit that, but whatever. But it's growing, and because I love books. I love books, and I love reading, and it's still a whole lot of fun for me. So yeah. So this has been great. This has been fantastic. First and foremost, I want to thank you so much, Jose, for making the time to come up on my show to hang out in the indie corner.
I want to thank you for having me.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure. So is there anything you want to plug, anything you want to tell the people?
Check out Jose's Crisis Corner on YouTube. Go to c3comics.com. We're also, like you, on Spinwiz.
Yes. Check out Spinwiz Comics.
Spinwiz.
Spinwizcomics.com, or download the Spinwiz app. You can get a whole bunch of the Intrepid series that Jose has been producing and writing, and you can get Treble, The Rhythm Within, the series that I have been writing for some time too as well. I will leave links to Intrepid, and I will also leave links, because if you want to support the channel, I love to support so I can keep the lights on. Links to Treble, The Rhythm Within. Follow me on all my social medias. They'll be down there in the little screen down there. At TheBrute00 on pretty much every platform there is, and at BP.1 on Facebook. So once again, want to thank Jose for stopping through on the Indie Corner, and I will catch you all next time.
Stay loose.
Also, if you want to support my channel, check out spinwiz.com or download the Spinwiz app and check out my comic series, Treble. It was written with a lot of love, and it was definitely my favorite comic series to write. I've also written it in English and in Spanish, so whatever floats your boat, I got it for you. Thanks again, and check it out.